Yo, it's so insane. Just this space. I mean, I've been around for so long, and I've seen obviously like where all these guys come from, and now to see some of my friends like making $15 million a year off of crypto or running the biggest orgs in the world or whatever it is, like brother, we all started this because we just like video games, man. Like this is crazy.
You went from GameStop to possibly opening for Donald Trump. Like,
that's insane.
Actually put that into fucking context
right.
here. That's fucking insane. First off, we apologize for Verlis, not having a camera. He is running on 3 hours of sleep today. This is our second podcast we've done. I've, done 3 today. And it's, one of those days. We have PJ or Overtflow on with us. We also have our off-camera fucking producer chilling with us as well. So this time things are going to be a little bit different, a little bit easier. Maybe things look a little bit better for you guys. But PJ was telling me something that was blowing my fucking mind. He's been all over the world, changing things everywhere. But this fucking, I did not expect you to even be honest about this. I thought you were bullshitting. I thought you were bullshitting a bullshitter. My friend, how's it been?
Everything's been good, bro. Everything's been amazing. Last few weeks have been insane, obviously, with I did celebrity poker, esports awards, did a thing with H3, did a Logan Paul video. Jake Paul's team flew me out for the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. I was part of the Trump campaign. I did a bunch of stuff, man. So it's been crazy.
That's fucking crazy. That's what you were saying before we started. You're like, yeah, I was supposed to be helping Trump speak in Vegas. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so basically, I have a lot of connections here in Vegas and all that, and I have a good amount of followers. And my socials right now, including Happy Punch, are doing 1 billion views a month, which is insane. So I had Trump's campaign manager is actually one of my good friends, and they were like, "Hey, in Vegas, if you wanted to come speak, we have a few openings for influencers to come speak, just like Bryce Hall did or the Nelk Boys did, and a bunch of UFC guys, obviously like Jorge Masvidal spoke." And so I was like, yeah, I'm down. So I got special guest privileges, showed up, and I was there. We were all there waiting, and he ended up being late by an hour or something. And so because of that, it cut into the time. So he ended up going with 3 influencers to speak instead of 6. And unfortunately, I didn't quite make the cut. So Jorge Masvidal spoke, and another UFC fighter, I believe. And I didn't get to actually speak, but it would have been sick. Honestly, would have been a moment. But because I didn't get to speak, I spoke with his campaign manager, and I am going to get a future visit once he's inaugurated into the White House to meet him, which is sick.
That's amazing.
It is so insane, bro. And I'm not a big political guy. I don't speak too much on politics, but I do feel that for the direction of the country, it is 100% necessary to have him running things, in my opinion. Sorry, Woody, but
I love everything he's doing right now. And then the biggest thing to me is JD Vance. I wasn't negative towards him. I was just like, all right, we'll see how this pick goes. And then at the debates, he killed it. And every time he opens his mouth, I'm like, he's dialed in. He brings up the things that I'm seeing on Twitter that need to be talked about. He needs to be in Trump's ear.
Bro, 100%. I had no idea who he was really before this. And I heard things just from obviously, I'm on socials a lot. I have a lot of social media friends, and all I heard was oh, he's a weird guy or this or that. And I saw him on I think one of
Rogan?
the podcasts. I saw him on Rogan, but I saw him on another podcast as well. And
was
I was
it
like,
Nelk,
dude,
or was it?
It might have been Nelk. It might have been Nelk. And then I watched a few of his other ones, and I was like, bro, this guy seems like a really normal, cool, level-headed, smart guy. I don't understand how anybody could listen to what he has to say and go, oh, this is ridiculous. I like him a lot.
This might be the oddest take, but at first I was like, okay, Trump's completely with it, and he still might be. But Vance makes Trump look like the grandpa that you have that doesn't understand technology and just says, hey, I'm on the thing. He is on a different level.
Vance is on point.
He understands the internet culture in a way that I did not expect. And that was really interesting to me.
For sure. And I think that Trump is still very with it. Obviously I saw his rally, and if you listen to him speak, and even on the Joe Rogan thing and all that, he's for an older guy, what is he, 78 or something? For being that age, he's extremely with it. And apparently, his campaign trail and everything, he was nonstop going. I don't know how he did. Man is powered off of Coke and McDonald's and the American spirit. It's insane.
Lots of G fuel. Use code RMTS. No, I love what they're doing. I loved that they brought internet culture into not only politics, but like to the mainstream almost.
Mm-hmm.
Watching them bring Nelk on and be like, okay, Nelk, say something. That was cool as fuck. The other one that I thought was really cool, and he said he was going to be on this podcast, but seems like our connection fell off a little bit. But Tom McDonald, him giving Tom McDonald a huge shout out in Pennsylvania was fucking cool as hell too. It's like the shit that he's doing, he understands what he's doing. I mean, he's being very, very intentional with what he does. And that's what I like the most is like, it's just very, very methodical. It's point to point to point, and he knows exactly what it's doing.
100%. I think that a big deal too that people kind of like there's an intangible here that I think that no offense, but I do believe that guys who are not in positions of power, or maybe perhaps some women to some degree, not all, but some, there's an intangible here when you have a powerful man in a room. And it's something that I can speak to, and it's something that I think all of us can speak to. You being a very tall guy, me being like the professional fighter that I am, or being somebody who's successful or whatever. If you're in a room with other men and you have these accomplishments about you, or you have a dominant feature about you, you tend to get a different level of respect. It's kind of like if a very fit guy walks into a room of guys who aren't in shape, everybody kind of looks at the fit guy as almost like a leader to some degree. And when you have somebody like Trump in power, you have people that come out with, and not saying this is right or wrong, but it is nature and it's the way of the world, I believe. If you have a powerful guy like Trump in charge, you're going to get people who are more respectful towards America, just like all the things coming out lately of like, hey, we want to actually sit down and have good negotiations with America now. Yeah. Or like Putin coming out saying he's totally willing to end the war. Or Mexico, didn't the Mexican president just say that they're really going to help us with the cartel and all that on the border because Trump threatened to send in SEAL Team 6 to dominate, like this is important stuff that like you really can't understand unless you've been in similar positions. And like, obviously the positions that I'm talking about are a much lower level. Like if I walk into a room full, like if I walk into a gaming convention, I'm typically one of the toughest guys there. And I'm very nice, but I'm a capable man, and being capable makes people have it's a kind of an intangible level of respect that they go, wow, this guy is like, something's here. I should have some respect for him, and Trump's doing that.
It's weird to finally feel that, because for a very, very long time, until I was like 17, 18, I was very, very quiet. I was very, very insular. And I was just like, oh no, I want to do this. And I started uploading videos and I started doing things and stuff like that. Now that confidence that I built up and everything else is at such a different level. I wish I could go more into this, and at some point I will. But I walked into a room the other day, and as soon as I walked in the room, every guy in the room looked down at their dick and just stared at the floor. And I'm like, never had that feeling before, where it's just like, oh no, big dick on campus is here, boys.
Walking in.
Sit down, shut the fuck up, get the fuck out of my way. You don't fucking matter. You're looking at the floor. And it's like, oh, I just literally cucked every single person the second I walked into the room. It's like, I know how Trump feels now. I know it.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what it is. If you're not of higher caliber, everybody just withdraws, and it's weird.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a thing. And I think that obviously there's a good way to use that and a poor way to use that. Like you hear about like stories of people who are using positions of power to to kind of abuse the power, right? They're abusive of the power over other people or whatever it is. And that's bad. I think some people can get this mixed up. People can get confused and they go, hey, this guy has this dominant quality, and so does this guy. But one guy can use the quality for good and one guy can use the quality for bad, right? And so I think that in this case, Trump using that quality to make America great again is a good thing for everybody here, man. I think it's good overall for the world, right? We don't want to I think that it's important, and I think that he's doing a good job. And Verlicify, what were you going to say that I cut you off earlier for? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was about like JD Vance, where everyone just thought he was weird, and it's like he gets more and more normal while also being tied in with it. And one thing that I found out before him was the parole program. Like right as the whole thing happening in Ohio was bubbling up, I was like, oh, you can't say illegal because they're here legally, but they're otherwise ineligible non-citizens. So definitions are now really weird about it. Mm-hmm. And then like he brought it up at the debate. My guy, that's how I felt about that.
No, for sure. I think that the whole illegal situation is interesting as well, because this is actually probably the most that I've spoken about this on a podcast. I have talked a little bit about it ever since like I was, around the campaign and stuff, but it's kind of interesting to me. And I think that I don't think that people are like people who are voting for Kamala Harris or whatever. I don't think that these are bad people. I think that sometimes they have the best intentions, but they're maybe a little naive. And I think that when I speak to my friends about like the border situation, for example, it's really tough for them to kind of grasp it or wrap their mind around it. And so I always ask them, they go, well, I don't think it's right for us to treat them unfairly or inhumanely or whatever. And I agree. But the thing is, I always ask, I go, hey, do you have any family in Mexico? And they're like, no. I'm like, do you have any family on the border, like on the Mexican-American border? They're like, no. Like, do any of your friends or family work in Border Patrol? No. And I'm just like, okay, well, I'm half Hispanic. A lot of my family works in Border Patrol, and my whole family lives in border towns. And what I've seen over the past like few years with going to my family lives in a town called Del Rio. It's the one where they pictured the illegal immigrants getting whipped by the policeman. I don't know if you saw that. It was like a super viral thing. They were like, look, they're whipping them. And it ended up just being the horse reins of the horse. And people misconstrue that as a whip, but it was really the horse reins. So that's where my family lives. That's where my family is from. They're all Mexican, by the way. And going down there, it's a town of 50,000 people. We drove over. This was like 2 years ago at this point now, but we drove over to it's on the border, bro. So you can walk to the Mexican-American border from their house. It's like a 15-minute walk.
Yeah.
So we went over there, and on the border, underneath the freeway, not kidding, 100,000 people in tents underneath the border, right outside their city. Like
media won't show you that.
Media won't show you this stuff. And it's like so insane to me because if you can feel safe and you can have a love for people or whatever, but if you looked out your window tonight and you saw 1,000 people camping outside of your house, right? And you had no idea who they are or where they came from. That's not a safe place. Nobody would like that. And I think that was shown pretty well. I know it's like for content or whatever, but when like Nelk Boys or these other guys were taking illegal immigrants and they're like, hey, you voted for Kamala Harris. I don't know if you guys saw this, but they pull up to like somebody's house with a Kamala sign. And they'd be like, you voted for Kamala, and so we appreciate you taking these guys on.
Yeah, that was
great. 20 people to come live with you for the day, and they're like, no, I don't want that. No way. But it's like, this is what you're voting for other people to do. Like, as long as it doesn't fall on you, it's okay. Or what's the deal here? Because you put my family through all that. You know what I mean? And so I think that I have a better a position to speak on this than people who have never like been. And it's easy to say from your cushy suburban home, bro, yeah, let everybody in. That's easy. And for sure, let as many people in as you can, as long as it's done the right way, in my opinion.
And I think that's the hard part that everybody wants to misconstrue or fuck up is nobody is saying, let's accept nobody.
Right.
Well, let's accept people of value. Like, where is their country's right to actually support the people that need help and assistance in that country? Mm-hmm. If they're seeking asylum, they don't go to the farthest country that will accept them. They're supposed to go to the next country that will accept them. How far from Syria are we? How far from Turkey are we? These places are at war. They're being destroyed. Absolutely. I want those people to be supported and taken care of. But they also have to go about asylum in the correct way. Finding asylum is going to the most closest place that you're possibly able to. And going to America normally isn't the answer. But they're sent here because they think that it's able to disrupt what we are. And that's fucking horrible.
And I also think that there's some degree of like people who are maybe giving people the benefit, like these guys who think that the open border thing is good, or people who are like, oh, let them all in. Let's try to help them, whatever. They also don't have, I think they have a fundamental lack of people and what people are capable of as far as everybody. Like, people will take advantage. You know what I mean? We all do it, and that's okay. It's a human trait to take advantage of something. Like, hey, if I had a bag of M&Ms and I'm like, yo, just take a couple, Zach, you might come over and take like a handful. And that's not bad, but that's kind of like, that can be used for anything. If somebody's coming over and they just are, and we give them a little bit, you give somebody an inch, they take a mile, this type of thing. And this happens more often than not with a lot of people. And we have to kind of factor that in, which I think people don't. People think, oh, they're coming for asylum. Let's just give them this. They'll be happy. It's never that simple either, you know?
With your explanation of M&Ms, it explains it almost entirely. And there's two ways to look at it. You could look at it, okay, you can have as many of these M&Ms as you want, but all of them have the names rubbed off of them. So they're just normal chocolate circles with colors on them, but I threw a handful of Skittles in there too. How many do you trust to grab at a time? Do you grab one or do you grab the entire bowl?
I hate Skittles.
Then
Yeah, that's the point. Where it's like if one in every million cigarettes exploded when you lit it,
exploded your face off.
yeah,
no,
there'd
sure,
be less
of
people
course.
smoking.
Of course.
And then you say it this way. Okay, so half of the M&Ms that you could grab, I've shoved up my ass and I pulled out last night. How many of those M&Ms
Okay,
are you
Zach's
going to
just
grab?
going off on like just a
Zach's going crazy right now. Me
far,
double
yeah.
fisting the M&Ms, double fisting handfuls of M&Ms.
Like at some point, it's okay to see, hey, there are bad people in this situation that are either going to abuse it or are actually a negative there.
Yeah, no, for
There's
sure.
actually a problem. And just saying that there's a problem isn't racist. There's no problem saying that there's a problem. Let's actually look at the problem. I remember talking to my sister was very, very, very bleeding heart because she has CP and she always wanted to see the good in people. And like she was sheltered. So like that lasted much longer than it probably should have. By the time she hit like 22 or 23, she's just like, Zach, I understand where you're coming from now. I get it. And I'm like, I'm glad that you're finally hearing me. And she's like, no, I now understand that, just accepting everybody and thinking that everything's going to be okay. And if no matter what, that's not how you do it. It's not how you do anything. At some point, we have to draw a line. We have to protect the people that are here.
100%. And like, this would never be, and it just wouldn't be acceptable to other countries as well. Like we went over there and just try to move in a bunch of people in other countries. Nobody's doing this like America is anyway. But it also, like on a smaller scale, if I just like the Nelk video, bro, if I just brought you 20 random people to your house that you had no idea who they were, you would never let them just live in your house. And what is America but a big house? You got to vet people before they come in. You just have to.
Mm-hmm. And then there's that scary thing where 30,000 convicted murderers are in the country because and they know about them and didn't immediately deport them. They're drifting around in the system somewhere.
Yeah, no, for sure, 100%. And it's nice. I everybody deserves love and kindness and all that, but so do you, and so do all of us. And I think that a big lesson. This is a funny lesson actually. When I was a child, I had a birthday. I was like 8. I went to laser tag. If you guys ever played laser tag, very fun. I went there and I got all of my friends their laser packs. So like all my friends that were there, I was really excited to have them. And I'm like, here, and I gave everybody a laser pack. I was like, oh, come over here and get this one. And then when it was time for me to get mine, there was none left. Right. And so because I was giving in that sense, I didn't get to play that game. And I just played the next one. It was my birthday, bro. And so my dad was like, look, Pat, you got to help yourself before you're even capable of helping other people. It's the same as everything else. If you're drowning in the ocean, you can't try to save everybody. You got to figure it out first. Get yourself a life vest. You got to get a boat. Then you can start helping people. But right now, America should put itself first so that we're in a position to be able to help people.
Exactly. That's a big thing where it's like, well, we still have so many homeless people. We still have a lot of people stuck in the welfare system. And then we're just going to throw tens of thousands of not even properly immigrated citizens because of the parole program. And asylum is also something where it's like you need to go to a port of entry, not cross the border, get caught, and then go, oh, I meant to do asylum. I swear, I wasn't just sneaking in. So it's messy. And
100%. And once again, I want to touch on the fact that I'm actually Hispanic. I don't know what you are, Verlisify, but I'm actually Hispanic. So a lot of my family comes from Mexico, bro. So I have like a prime, like I call them and I'll ask them, how's it going? Like I could call them and ask them what they think about all this. And they agree with all of Trump's policies. So if that's the case, it's like, okay, so people who aren't agreeing with his policies and aren't Hispanic or have no stake in the matter, like they should probably look at these other people and say, why would a Mexican agree with Trump's policies if it's hurting Mexico? You know what I mean? There must be more to this than what I'm hearing or what I'm seeing as a suburban American who can be any color, but specifically I'm talking about Hispanics right now, so like it's just insane to me.
I'm not Hispanic, but 2 of my ancestors signed the Declaration of Independence. So like I have a little bit more to say than a lot of people should accept, but like as a whole, like what the fuck? At some point we have to draw a line. We have to. Technically, I'm an immigrant. Why? Because I was one of the first people that came here and helped develop the fucking country.
No, you're a colonizer. Get out of here.
Brother, you're a colonizer, not an immigrant.
Yeah.
Please. Colonizing my people.
fucking hell, man. Like it's so stupid.
Yeah,
It's
no,
just
for sure.
stupid
I think
because
it's
they
just
wanna
common
draw the
sense though
line.
too, because it could be anybody, it could be any type of person, any people, any race, any religion, any color. It's more of the matter of like common sense, like the thing with the house. Like you're not gonna let 20 random people into your house, so don't let 20 million random people into America. Like, come on, that's an easy concept. Bring it down really little and then make it big, buddy. The house metaphor is exactly the same as America. Just because it's bigger doesn't mean that it changes. You know, we still got to maintain some semblance of rules here.
Perfectly said.
Exactly. And that's exactly what those videos and stuff showcase. There was one with a blonde chick too, where she's like, so I know that you guys are here for a rally for all of the illegal immigrants, but I have one, and I heard that you might be able to help him. So here's my friend Miguel. I know he looks like he's black, but he's actually Mexican. He came over from Mexico. He needs a place to stay tonight. He's illegal, but he's not illegal. You understand what I'm saying? And they're like, no, I won't accept him. What are you talking about? No, I don't want him. It's like, come on, that's what you said you were going to do.
Yeah, where's the sympathy? Where's the compassion?
Yeah, it's easy to offset responsibility onto other people when you have no hand in it, right? So it's easy for me to say, you know what? Everybody should get this, or everybody should be allowed to do this, as long as it doesn't, like, as long as I don't have to do anything. Yeah, they should get it, and I think that's what it comes down
Martha's
to.
Vineyard can't even take 50 of them, and then they give a small town in Ohio 15,000. That's fair,
bro. You cannot disrupt the system. Just like my family, right? They live in that town, 50,000 people down there in Del Rio. It's like border town, Mexico. 50,000 people, 100,000 people showed up in tents outside of their home. People haven't locked their doors in Del Rio the whole time my whole life. I've never heard of my family locking their doors. As soon as all those people were there was more crimes happening. Everybody's locking the doors, and there's random people showing up to your stores and gas stations. It's like, this is so absurd that somebody could look at that and not say, yeah, you know, maybe not the best choice here. We should really probably like, the stranger in your home situation is the perfect example. And I won't say it again, but God, it's like, you wouldn't let strangers into your house. That's it, right? We all agree. Come on.
Yeah.
I think the metaphor is the easiest way exactly how to explain it. It's like all of you small-time people that want to sit here and say, okay, we can accept these people. Absolutely, sure, we can accept these people, right? Okay, so your town of 15, 20,000 people just doubled. How many people do you not know now?
Yeah.
How many people are you sitting there looking at where their hands are?
And they don't even speak English.
Aisle?
And how does that affect the economy of said city or town or whatever? Like, it's going to affect it negatively for a lot of the actual residents there, you know, as far as pricings on things and availability of certain things. So, you know, I think that it's one thing to have a bleeding heart for people, but if you're going to do that, you need to have a bleeding heart for all people involved, not just the ones that you deem to be the innocents or whatever. Because, like, if you're going to put other people in a position to be, you know, to have negative impact upon their life, like, where's your bleeding heart for them? You have to be able to do that as well. I'm going to get a drink.
All right.
I completely feel that shit, though. Like, that shit used to piss me off so fucking badly when somebody would sit there and be like, well, Zach, guess what? You're white. I'm like, dude, I've been on welfare my entire life. Just because I'm white, that literally does not mean a fucking thing. I don't have whatever you think this white privilege is.
Bro, I grew up on welfare as well.
Like, I've grinded my ass off to get to the point where I am. I've done everything I possibly can to make sure everything is in the place where it needs to be. So that way I can pop off in the way that I know it's going to happen.
Pop off, King.
Yeah. Cowboy, so if I just post something like that, can you put it on screen?
Yeah, he can put it on, click present, and then share tab.
Yeah, put that in the private chat.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've seen this, but it's a heat map of moral allocation.
Oh, yeah, I want to see that.
What?
Yeah, show me that.
So the idea is that it's conservatives on the left, liberals on the right, and it's based on like how close it is, where 1 is like direct family, 2 is friends, 3 is your community, 4 is your state, and so on. So it just kind of shows like liberals, their moral allocation is for everyone. They believe like there's no illegal person, everyone should be represented or have their opportunities, but conservatives are more about those values. They're about keeping it to their group. But because the moral allocation gets so spread with liberals, you can see they actually have less care. Well, not like directly, but you know,
they care less about self and care more about the greater mass of people instead of caring more about their circle and building up from there, which is
so
how
that's why they're like, oh, who cares about the people that were already established here? We need to help those who need it more, and that's
which
going
is
to be
good.
some...
Like, I think that's good, but I think the failure to recognize that when you help this middle circle, that actually makes, by proxy, it makes the bigger circle better when everybody helps their own circle like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like
it's just very interesting to see the world like that.
That is super interesting.
And PJ, I don't know if you had the same experience, but with having a family that was dealing with it so heavily, my parents asked and would ask to borrow money all of the fucking time. It was every 10 days. It was, can I get a pack of cigarettes? Can I get gas? Whatever it is. And you want to help, but at the same time, you can't put yourself out.
Right.
So
Because
you
then
have
you
to
can't help.
retrain. Yeah. You have to retrain yourself that if I put myself out, I don't have dinner tonight and I have to help them. So where do I stop? And that's so interesting, man. It really is, because it's a weird place to kind of learn how to draw that line, not only for yourself, but try and teach somebody else. You have to stop asking. You have to put forward your steps to do what you need to do now instead of just accepting and hoping that it works.
100%. That's something too, that I've also been in situations like that. And when you start helping everybody else with the money or whatever it is that you need to help yourself, you actually lose the ability to help them because you're not in a position to help anymore, because you've given all that you've had, and you actually end up hurting them more by kind of giving them that life jacket for a little bit at your own expense, right? So if I'm making a few $1,000s a month and I'm not putting it back into my business and I'm paying your rent, then I don't even have the business to be able to help you pay your rent anymore because I put you above it. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
Yeah, we really got to figure that out. You can't beat yourself up to help somebody else out. And speaking of beating people up, did you guys watch Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson?
Yeah, I watched it live.
And how did you feel about it? And be very careful with your words here, because remember, Jake Paul's team flew me out. I had a lot of things happening there, and I have a lot of insight that I'm going to share. So go.
That makes it more interesting, because I wasn't coming in thinking oh, it's fake, it's staged, they're just taking their paycheck. I wanted to watch the fight. I wanted to see some crazy shit happen. I was like, yo, Mike Tyson at any point can just snap and pop him, and it's going to be great.
Right.
So I was waiting for that. Round 1 was looking good, but then Tyson just looking old, like he can't keep up, and Jake's looking like a legit fighter, and it's like, what are you going to do now?
Bro, Mike won rounds 1 and 2.
First
round.
Yeah. He hit him in the face a couple times. I'm like, yo, a few more of those. Jake is in trouble. And it just stopped. And it's like, oh, nope, the young kid's going to take it. Now it's boring.
Young kid takes over. How did you feel about it, Zach?
So Mike fought out of my hometown. So I always have to be like, dude, I would love to talk to Tyson, because I know that if I have that conversation, he's going to be like, a Catskill kid wants to hang out and chat. And he'll be like, let's sit down for an hour, please. And I went into it 50-50, if I want to be honest. I knew that Jake was more likely because, he's younger. And honestly, I think that he does have the skill. I can't say he doesn't. But I think genuinely, I was kind of hoping Mike to catch him. And after those first 2 rounds, I was like, okay, no, it makes sense that he probably will. But there are some things in that fight that just look like Tyson held back. There are some things that just look like it catches things off guard and makes things fucking weird. And I don't know, man.
I think so. I've seen a lot of the videos like Mike Tyson held back, or Jake Paul was talking to him, or blah blah. I've seen a lot.
Oh yeah, that one where it's like, oh, but see, right here is when he tapped him on the shoulder and he hugged. I'm like, now you're getting a little too conspiratorial for me.
100%. So here's what I'll say, and I'll tell you exactly my perspective. So I have some insight. Not a rigged fight. What actually happened there was what do you expect? It was an older boxer versus a younger guy. And now there are some context to this, right? There's some shades of gray with this. Mike Tyson, I think, would have put up a much better fight had he been fully healthy.
Yeah, his leg.
Right, and after the fight, it came out that he actually had some blood transfusions and stuff like that a few months ago, and we didn't know that. We thought that he had just had a stomach ulcer. Turns out that he had some blood transfusions, and it was a more serious medical situation than we were led to believe.
Oh,
So I don't think that he was fully healthy. With that being said, he still go ahead.
On that note, I just have a question. I'm not trying to cut you off.
Mhm.
On that note, if you think 8 months ago, before he was seen, be pulled off the plane, when this fight was announced, and we see all of the shorts and everything of him killing fucking heavy bags
Mhm.
and doing and boxing work and shit like that, do you think that this goes 3 or 4 rounds, Tyson, instead of Paul?
I agree. I think that exactly. I thought he was going to have 3 or 4 rounds in him, is what I was telling everybody. I think that within 4 rounds, he's still Iron Mike. But with the actual fight, it appeared that only within the first 2 rounds, he was catching Jake. He won the first 2 rounds. Obviously, with this, you see this a lot in older fighters. They're very tough right away, and then they slow down, especially against a more youthful fighter. I train every day. Well, I train 6 days a week. And some of the toughest guys to train with are the older guys. They beat the crap out of you. But then towards the end of class, you get them, and it's a much, much different story. And I think that that's pretty much how the fight went. I think you have a Mike Tyson who wasn't fully healthy. Then you have Jake Paul, who's a good boxer, much younger, very, very big. And so the stuff that I was seeing too with like Mike Tyson held his punch back, or why didn't he hit him like he was hitting the heavy bag? This is a much different scenario when you're fighting a person who's throwing back at you, who's moving. This is much different than hitting pads or a heavy bag. And the reason why Mike Tyson would go to throw a shot and then pull it back is because Mike Tyson, as an expert in the boxing field, realized, hey, if I throw this punch, it's going to have me off guard or off balance, or maybe I'll miss it. Maybe he didn't feel it was lined up perfectly. It's not a matter of, oh, he went to throw the punch and then he didn't. So
we have it right here. I want to get your actual reaction to this, because this punch is interesting to me. And if this is the one I'm thinking about, he goes for an overhand right, and it looks like he almost has him.
Bro, look how strong that jab is.
Yeah, that's when I saw that, I was like, oh, we got to fight.
That's so insane. Yeah, I was there live, bro. The audience was freaking out. 75,000 people in the arena was nuts.
Like he goes to catch him with an overhand right,
and then he pulls
literally
it back.
He freezes it.
Yeah.
And that to me was such a weird fucking swing.
To
me, just looks off.
To me, what that is I think that he didn't believe in the punch, and he was scared that if he threw that, he'd be in a bad position to be.
Bro, you don't want to get uppercut by Mike.
I know, right? We didn't see a lot of uppercuts out of him.
I don't think he threw one, right?
Yeah.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe that was in the contract.
Yeah.
Maybe in the contract, he's like, please don't Mike Tyson uppercut.
The conspiracy is don't pop his head off, but at least box.
That's hilarious,
okay, so with you being in this space, and I don't mean to pull back the curtain too much. If you think that I'm asking too much, call me an asshole. It's fine. Zero problems. Is there things that are in these contracts like that are just kind of like would be unsettling to the public if it's known, or change the betting lines if it's known, where it's like no uppercuts or no left jabs or whatever the fuck that is?
So
is there things that are that precise?
There is some of that in sparring. There are people who pull people in, but that's because you're training for a fight and you're like, hey, this guy normally throws this, so please throughout the fight only throw this punch. There's stuff like that in sparring, and there are interesting things in other contracts that I've seen that would be like, and a lot of this is like, do you remember Kimbo Slice?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Kimbo Slice, when he fought Seth Petrozelli, Seth Petrozelli came out and said that they asked him to keep the fight standing for Kimbo. They said, hey, if you could keep the fight standing, that'd be like what we want as the promoters of the fight. So there is stuff like that can happen, right? Typically, you're never going to see that on paper. But as far as in the influencer fight scene, I have seen a lot of contracts in this space. I've had a few contracts of my own. And I've managed a bunch of people, obviously, with Happy Punch and stuff like that, where I've seen their contracts, and there's never been anything even remotely close to that in the space.
I would believe like you don't want to give the popular gamer that's never like been in a fight. You'd want to be a little more soft on him, but it's like, no, this is boxing.
They just throw it out there, man. Yeah, definitely. There's not anything like that in the space at all. Pretty much, I think the closest that you're going to get to that is that they fought in 14-ounce gloves and not 10 or 12-ounce gloves. You know what I mean? So that was the big.
And does that favor Mike or Jake or neither?
I'd say it favors neither, because it's like more akin to a training glove. Like 14s is like a hard training glove. Typically, you train in 16 ounces and you fight in 10s. Amateurs fight in 12s. And 14 would be considered still like a training glove. So they fought not in the biggest glove possible, but they fought in a fat glove. So that would take away a lot of the power that you would see more knockouts with. Like the 10 ounces, you see a lot of knockouts. That's what they use in professional boxing. So that would be the biggest thing.
What saved either of them from
knockouts? Oh, 100%. It could have saved them from a knockout.
There's your conspiracy theory right there. It's like it was the gloves, so that way they don't kill each other, and it's going to do weird things to the fight. But everone knew this.
Yeah, and they couldn't sanction the smaller gloves because obviously, like just age difference or whatever. Maybe it went on their pro record, which is interesting. But I just don't understand how. The glove would be the only thing.
Tired quicker. Was that have your glove swinging it more often?
Could have been a third. I don't know the size what they bigger.
Feel like different wise.
Yeah, it's a third the size bigger. So you think about it and you think 14 ounces doesn't feel heavy, but when you have it in your hands, it's different. It's like having it's like having, whatever, 5 pounds in your hands or having 8 pounds in your hands. You know what I mean? It's like the 8 pounds will wear on you a bit more than the 5s at some point, so.
That's why I figured I'd ask because, that shit's so interesting. And that fight, there's so many questions about it. There's was this rigged? Was this punch pulled? Was that not done? It's like, okay, I could understand where, a little bit of smoke and mirrors might be able to happen. But the gloves kind of, after you said that, like it makes a lot of sense that they might have made it that way. Somebody didn't have dynamite in their hands.
Yeah, especially with the age difference and stuff like that. I'm sure that there was some tough things to get around with the medical history and all that. And that was the way that they could do it. So that's how they did it.
They don't want Mike to die. That's obvious.
Yeah, and they don't want Jake to get his head punched into the crowd.
Exactly. So what was it like being there, man? Because I'm sure that even with the loading screen that I was able to see, nice. I'm sure that you were able to see quite a bit more, and it probably felt a little bit different.
Yeah, it was very fun, bro. I had a great time. I think that overall the fight itself was a bit lackluster. I do like, some people don't like that Jake pulled off the gas towards the end. They feel like that contributes to the conspiracy that he rigged the fight or whatever. But he's fighting an older guy. He saw that Mike Tyson slowed down a lot, and he decided in the end, instead of trying to go all out and kill him, he bowed to him in the end and said, "Thank you, Mike."
Oh, I love that.
I love that. That's respect, and I think that's super honorable. And some people may not see it that way, but for me, I prefer that over him going crazy and trying to knock Mike Tyson out in the last couple of rounds when he realizes that, he's not all there right now. I actually like that a lot.
And honestly, the first 2 rounds should give Jake just as much respect as beating Mike Tyson 4 or 5 years ago.
100%. Because he withstood that first couple rounds. That was scary.
Yeah, definitely. Tyson still has something.
Yeah, the arena went crazy during those first couple rounds. Man, 75. The most people I've ever fought in front of was 22,000. The only time I've seen 75,000 people in an arena was in a soccer stadium in Manchester, and it felt insane. And so to see 75,000 people show up, watch the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight, and see the crowd reactions when Mike was tagging him in the beginning, man, it was definitely an experience.
Oh, I bet. Like that, and that shit's so weird. That feeling of what a crowd is when they're actually doing something. And this is a much smaller crowd, but I remember when I went to a Panic at the Disco concert, and they played Africa by Toto. Toto. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Everybody had their flashlights out, and it was before the concert even started. You heard every single person singing, like the room was vibrating.
It's that crazy feeling, right?
Of like a crowd is the greatest fucking feeling in the world.
Oh, it feels really good on a human level. You're like, oh, I'm part of something. It's interesting.
No, and I don't know about you guys, but I get that when there's 1,000 people watching, there's 500 people watching. Like I get that. Like it doesn't matter if I'm the center of attention or not. It feels fantastic to just be around that many people. I love it,
bro. 1,000,000%. And on the Jake Paul Mike Tyson thing, after the fight, Mike Tyson called out Jake Paul's brother, Logan Paul. So on the mic, you guys saw Mike Tyson call out Logan Paul. He said, "Maybe I'll fight Jake's brother next." And Logan went, "I'll kill you, Mike." We all
that was great.
That was, I mean, the response was kind of crazy from Logan, but all right. I actually think that Mike can take Logan. Like that Mike, I think takes Logan. It's just that Jake.
You think he beats Logan straight up?
Yes, I think that Jake is just a much better boxer and his fundamentals are much better than Logan's. And I think that I also think that Mike Tyson can beat any other person in the influencer scene. I think that Jake is the only one that he can't beat. I think that he can beat Logan. He can beat KSI. He can beat Salt Poppy. Mike Tyson's a different breed, bro. So I definitely do think that I'd love to see the Logan Paul Mike Tyson fight. That'd be amazing.
No, I think that fight is so interesting because that's what my first question was going to be as soon as you brought it up was like, do you think he wins? It's really, really interesting. What exactly is going to happen with Tyson now? Does he stay like he wants to?
Yeah, I mean, he wants to. I definitely think that it's I think that in a lot of ways too, I don't know, people are going to discredit Jake either way, but I think that everybody knows, especially the casual fan knows the name Mike Tyson, obviously. So I interviewed a few hundred people and literally probably 90% of them said that Jake Paul was going to lose to Mike Tyson. This is a little picture of me in the ring. And if we scroll through the carousel, I just want to show you guys a couple little like background images. If we go through the pictures here, you can see like this is a stadium.
Yeah.
Look at how packed this is, bro. I was up in the Celsius suite. Shout out Celsius. We're doing a brand deal, Celsius and Happy Punch, very soon launching.
Congrats.
Pretty cool. Thank you. As you can see, they commented there as well. That's my little brother. He started watching boxing and started doing boxing because of Jake Paul, and now he's in the ring at the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. It was his first ever live boxing event, which is very, very cool.
Jake is a legit fighter, and I think that's just impossible for someone to accept when it's like, oh, we just have this dude from Vine.
Yeah.
I still get them confused. Which one was the Disney star?
It was Jake.
Yeah, so it's like we got some Disney content creator, but now you look at him and he is a big boy.
He's a big boy. Logan and him are special athletes too. Like I knew them since LA, since I'd be out at the Face House all the time. And just meeting them in person, you're like, oh, this is like a special athletic type of person. And so for people to look at them just as the Disney kid or the YouTuber is like so insane. And yeah, there's no question. Jake is a tremendous boxer, especially for the time that he's put in. But yeah, he's very good. Is he going to be like, is he skill for skill? Is he better than Canelo? No, obviously not. But for the time he's put in and for what he's done, he's a extremely good boxer and very difficult to deal with. But yeah, there's just some pictures here on my Instagram of like me with some of the boys. I was with Mike Malak. I was with, these are some of the fighter boys. We got Ashton. We got Minicon and B-Dave. They all fight on Misfits. And then Ashton Silva fights under Jake Paul's org. This is George Jenko. Great guy. Looks just like me, but like maybe a color, a palette swap, you know?
Yeah.
B-Dave, my little brother, fights on Misfits, basically. Very cool guy, big over in UK, very famous over in the UK. And then I wonder if I might have a cool. Oh yeah, this is a cool picture, very nice. Yeah, just really showing off.
Okay, it just hit me. What did you think about the fight before?
Oh,
the women's boxing fight.
It was great. She got headbutted a ton. I've only seen highlights because during that time I was actually running around, getting some stuff done for the team. So I didn't get to watch as much as possible of it. So I can't really sit here and break it down, but I can say I did see a lot of the headbutts. And
bro, those headbutts, I was just, and then she just like headbutt and then cuddled, and then like this, it wasn't strategic clinching or anything like that.
It was strategic headbutting though.
Yeah, it was like the dirtiest fight, and it's like I don't watch boxing that much.
Bro? Why do you give her some respect for the headbutts? All right, that's part of the game plan.
I don't watch boxing that much because I don't
part of the plan.
I don't pay for any of it, and then like Netflix, I'm like, oh, everyone's got Netflix. I'll just watch boxing if it's on Netflix. I'll watch any sporting event because it's actually a lot more accessible. So let me see if I can get into this whole boxing mood. And then after that fight, I'm like, oh, this is like the second biggest fight, and it was just headbutts, and her face was peeling off, and there was no action. It was weird. I didn't like it.
I believe there's actually football on Netflix tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Thursday for Thanksgiving.
It's a whole new world with like Netflix opening up and putting stuff on there. Like it's gonna be insane. Where's my controller at? Oh, I think it's downstairs. Okay. Sorry.
I was trying to figure out if that's what you dropped or what you threw or.
Oh, my phone's charging, but all my outlets are being used. So my phone, and I don't have my normal charger that's long, so I have to go over here by the wall to get it. I just want to make sure that I was on schedule, you know?
No, I understand, man.
Of course,
of course. It's just so fucking interesting to see what Netflix actually is doing. Do you see more fighters, and obviously I know you can't talk about Happy Punch specifically, but do you see more fights like this going with Netflix instead of doing a pay-per-view thing?
Oh, I definitely see a lot of the Happy Punch guys going on Netflix.
Okay.
No, yeah, I definitely would love to. I mean, a Netflix thing would be amazing, obviously, you know. So we're gonna all possibilities, all opportunities will be looked at and heavily spoken about until we choose the right path to go. But yeah, I mean, crazy. We just cracked 1 billion views last month. A lot of it because of this Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight. So 1 billion views in a month on Happy Punch.
That's big numbers. I can understand why you're busy.
Yeah, that's big numbers, buddy. Big numbers. Big fat
Who doesn't
numbers.
like big number?
That's actually, if that's your space, it's like these are as fat as it gets. I'm happy.
These are
we're going to keep going.
numbers. Yes.
These are big fatty numbers. When you guys come to Vegas, we're going to have a steak together.
I would love that.
I would love to come to Vegas. Yep.
Let's do it. And I'll get you don't even have to get the small steak. You guys can get a medium steak.
Oh
yeah. My guys.
We'll go
treat us well.
And get the
treat us well.
Eat this in one sitting and you don't even have to pay for it, steak.
Oh yeah, we can definitely do that. But if
can I take a second roll from the bread basket?
Brother, you can have another bread basket.
Fucking go.
Let's go, boys.
It's so interesting, man. And being in this space for the time that I have, or looking at the boys and trying to be like, dude, I wish they would do more. There's so much here now, so much like influence and availability to like just commingle with people. And it's gotten so interesting because whether it's the fighting stuff, whether it's the let's do a live circuit, a podcast, or whatever it is, this space is growing so fucking much. And it's so fucking weird now.
Yo, it's so insane. Just this space. I mean, I've been around for so long and I've seen obviously like where all these guys come from. And now to see some of my friends like making $15 million a year off of crypto or running the biggest orgs in the world or whatever it is. Like, brother, we all started this because we just like video games, man. Like, this is crazy.
You went from GameStop to possibly opening for Donald Trump. Like,
that's insane.
Actually put that into fucking context here. That's fucking insane.
I didn't think about that at all. You're so right. It's so crazy. Yeah, what an insane take.
I'm hopeful now. I hope things can reset. We can get everyone in this country back on track and being happy. And hopefully the social media thing calms down. Like Elon Musk did so many great things by just opening up Twitter and being like, hey, we need to have an impartial platform. Everything's changed. Everything shifted off of just that. My problem is, because like you can see, I opened up, I was like, oh yeah, let's talk about immigration to lead a podcast. That's not a spicy topic at all.
Yeah, super spicy, bro. That's the most I've ever talked about it in public, by the way, just so you guys know.
And I think that's also kind of good things. Like everyone kind of wants to get it out, and it turns out, oh, it's not just evil, hate, and bigotry. It's we have some nuanced takes about this that need to be talked about that we weren't allowed to talk about. So what happened with me is in 2016 when Trump won, I came out and I did my victory lap. That was the worst thing possible for my brand because the rest of the culture wasn't there yet. I was just like, see, the institutions are commies. Everything's wrong. We're just going to make America great. And then like all the leftist controlled stuff was just like, no, we're not. We're not ready. We're not happy about these results. We're not going to let this go. So I took a big hit on my like brand and my channel back then. It's like, all right, now maybe everyone calms down. There's more opportunity. Everything's gonna be great.
You know, I think too, like for anybody who, because I have a lot of friends that are super left leaning and I love them. You know, is no issue, bro. Like I understand we have different viewpoints on things, but I also think that this is good for everybody. I think that Trump winning is good for everybody, especially left leaning friends. What he's going to do is going to make your lives better as well. It almost reminds me of a little bit of the tough love scenario. If you guys ever played sports or whatever, and you have a coach that just is like kind of a douche, but like helps you guys win all the time, and actually it raises up everybody on the team, even the guy who's like, oh, I hate coach, he's making us do laps at 4:30 a.m. It's like, yeah, bro, but you're gonna be better for it, and it's actually better for all of us. I think this is something that will make everybody better overall. And that's my belief on the situation.
Oh, definitely. Like, I think we need someone that's a bit of an asshole leading the country, especially America.
And
have
that classic scenario. Like, it's classic scenario of any male leader. Typically, you don't always agree with how they are, or even like your dad or something. Like, maybe not every family, everybody, almost it's like in the general population, people always say, oh, yeah, my dad was kind of like an a-hole about this, or he was really specific about this, but I'm so happy he was because it made me better. And that's kind of a similar situation. Is it fun at the time? Maybe not. But guess what? It makes us all better. You need positive male role models.
I think honestly, my kids look at me and will have that same exact conversation with me. And I told them, don't treat me like the normal dad of like, you cannot tell me what's wrong. You cannot tell me what I'm doing wrong, but I want to have this conversation enough with you for me to tell you what the fuck you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
Like there needs to be a level where we're just pushing and I need to push you and I want you to do the best you possibly fucking can because that's what fucking matters. Not this isn't about me, this isn't about anybody else. I want to push you to be the best version of you that you possibly can be. And it's like I'm going to be the asshole dad because it's not about the number that's on your report card. It's about who you are as a person right now. And if you're being a shitbag, I'm going to tell you you're being a shitbag. Like there has to be a level of understanding on both sides that just because I'm being an asshole or being very, very targeted on something, that there's a point you're missing here. There's a point to what I'm telling you, and you need to get it. And I don't think a lot of kids in the moment, if they don't hear that, are able to grab it.
Yeah.
They're like, my dad's being an asshole because he's an assoul.
Right. Yeah, it's deeper than that. There's some shades of gray in that. There's context to this. And I think that I've always been very, I think that I've been good at dealing with that and good at seeing when somebody's intentions are good. Because there's a difference between, being an a-hole to be one or to make somebody better or to do something that's positive for themselves, right? That's just what it is, So, and people need to understand that. And I know that it's going to fall on deaf ears to some people, but overall, I think it's necessary.
No, absolutely. So to go on a much, much fucking lighter topic, I want to
let's keep going.
Call of Duty. How are you fucking liking it?
Have you played it yet? I'm loving Call of Duty, bro. I am level 55, not prestiged yet. I've just been playing. I've been so busy, man. I'm gonna prestige probably tonight. I might do it on stream if you guys want to come watch me stream on TikTok. But yeah, I'm finally going to hit prestige. And I honestly, okay, so here's my deal. I love the game, love it. When I play with an AR, shotgun, SMG, love it. Sniping feels great, but the maps along with the movement do not make it easy for snipers to do the sniping thing. I think that they've really, I wish that there was a few bigger maps. I think that back in the day,
sniping is easy.
Slow
sniping is not.
Correct. Yeah, and it's like it sucks to spawn die. Like that's never been my favorite type of Call of Duties. I've always been a big fan of the slower paced ones like World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2. I even love, I love BO3. I love Advanced Warfare. So it's not so much the pace.
Advanced Warfare.
Advanced Warfare is so top 3 for me. It's a top 3 easy, bro.
Hey, I have the same fucking hot take. I fucking love Advanced Warfare. It is in the top 3. Guaranteed.
Oh, it's so good.
You are the only person that I've ever heard publicly be like Advanced Warfare top 3 COD of all time.
Bro, there's a lot of pro players that liked it as well for the skill gap. A lot of pro players liked it.
Yeah. To me, it is Modern Warfare 2, the original.
Okay.
Then Advanced Warfare or Black Ops 3, and then whatever one left over. And then COD 4 right behind those 3. Okay. And everything else kind of trickles down after that.
My personal top 3 of Call of Duties, probably Black Ops 1, World at War, Advanced Warfare. My objective top 3 would probably be Black Ops 2, probably MW2, and then probably objective. Whatever. I forget. Whatever. I don't care anymore. But those ones are. I can understand that BO2 is probably in the top for most people, and it is one of the best. But I just have such nostalgia about World at War.
Black Ops 2 and Modern Warfare 3, the original Modern Warfare 3.
Yeah, it's very good.
Our bottom 3 Call of Duties of all time.
Really?
Yes.
Black Ops 2.
Yes. They had the worst internet connection in the entire ecosystem.
Okay.
For like 85% of the population. I could understand why some people loved them, but I did not enjoy playing them because I had buttfuck connection that I've like the worst connection to those 2 games I've ever had to a game.
Brother, it sounds like a skill issue.
Definitely a skill issue.
Okay, so
go ahead.
I was gonna say, what do you think about the cheating problem? Is
what's your top 3 though? We gave our top 3s. What's your
top 3? I'm not. I play the only COD I've seriously played was Warzone.
So your top 3 is Warzone?
Well, that's the only one I played.
Warzone
so default,
1, 2, or 3.
So what happened was like I was
Verdansk?
just a Nintendo boy growing up. I played Pokemon and I was Super Smash Bros. So I didn't care about shooters until my first shooter game was Overwatch, and
Ooh,
then I got
nice.
into PUBG, and then I played Warzone.
So, which Warzone did you like? Verdansk?
Oh, Verdansk, yeah.
Okay, Verdansk
I
top
think the
one.
second map was good though, because it reminded me of PUBG. It felt a lot
Okay,
like Erangel, but the gameplay was a little too different.
okay. I'll take it. What were you gonna say? What was your question? Something about something?
Cheating, like how is the cheating as bad as everyone says?
Cheating is bad, but I mean, I don't really run into it that much.
Yeah.
But I've been seeing it, and then I've seen a lot of like pro players complain about certain things and certain guns and all that stuff. But I don't really follow. I haven't followed it enough to really have an opinion on it, which I think is actually an intelligent take. If you don't follow something enough, don't have an opinion.
Yeah, because with Warzone, like that, the first couple seasons just felt so clean and so good, and then as it went
Yep.
on more and more, it's like, I don't think I lose that duel, a couple months ago. I don't think the player base is catching up this fast. I think there's some sus like stuff going on,
Bro,
but
SBMM
it's just
is
always.
insane in Black Ops 6, though. Like, you
No,
win
it's
one
not.
game and then you get
It's the
smacked.
weakest it's been. It's the
You think
weakest it's
so?
been in a while. So I'm not saying this to say I'm great because I'm
Oh my
absolutely not.
God. Okay.
I have almost a 2 KD. I get about 40 to 60 kills a game on average, and I'm like prestige 8.
Whoa.
And
We got to play.
uh, you want to play tonight? I'll
Probably.
hop on stream with you and play with you and bullshit with you. Have zero problem. All core hardpoint, absolutely. Hardpoint is the only game type to fucking play. But
Okay.
honestly, the skill-based matchmaking is not as bad as it has been in Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3. It is not nearly the same level as those games at all.
I need to play more. I thought that there was some skill-based matchmaking. And then my feelings, along with what I've seen my friends talk about, maybe has led me to believe that there is more than there is. But I'm going to run. I literally haven't played in 2 weeks, bro. I'm about to go
It is
run it tonight.
still there. And absolutely, my girlfriend I have playing with me most of the time. She hops in, and she's like a 0.6 KD. So I'm sure
so
that
you're
it
using
offsets
her
it a little bit.
as a shield from the SBMM.
Yes, maybe a little bit, but amazing games. I like amazing games.
But I'm crushing.
Yes, exactly. On the other hand, almost dropped 3 nukes, have gotten numerous dreadnoughts, and had fun playing the game. I don't know about you, but I think those are more fun than shitting on skill-based matchmaking every day of my life.
I agree. The kill streaks, and this is why Black Ops 2 was so good, I think, is because kill streaks crush so hard when you got them. That's why people love the MW2. That's why people love Black Ops 2. I think the kill streaks in this game feel good as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, I definitely I'm definitely personally an enjoyer of fine Black Ops 6 gameplay.
Exactly. I'm almost done with Dark Matter.
That's
Which sounds
crazy.
horrible. But yeah, almost done with Dark Matter. And then, I will have nothing to do. And then I will go find something else to play. So I'm glad you're having some fun. I'm glad you didn't leak this Call of Duty before it came out.
No, me as well. Did you see me? I was on Kai Sennett's stream a few days ago.
So
Oh, wow.
what happened with that, man? Because I know we were planning this podcast and we're like, oh, can't do it this day. I'm on Kai stream. And I'm like, the fact that I'm even in the same month as a Kai Sinat stream is like, you're pulling ass hairs out and I'm screaming yes.
Yes. So basically Kai Sennett's manager is also one of my good friends, / helps me with manager stuff. Oh, they're over at Night Media. His name's John Nelson. He gave me a call. He said, hey, we're doing car jitsu. I know you're a black belt in jujitsu. Do you want to come over and do this? Car jitsu, if you're not familiar, well, jujitsu, if you're not familiar, is a grappling art. It's everything that you see in the UFC on the ground. So all the arm locks and chokes, et cetera, that's what you see. Car jitsu is a crazy Russian sport where you do jujitsu in a car, and you can use seatbelts to choke people. You could like hit their head against the door, whatever you want to do, as long as you get a submission. And
I've seen that, yeah.
Bro, so random. So they called me. They're like, you want to do this? I was like, sure. I pull up, and I end up fighting a professional MMA fighter. I end up fighting a professional MMA fighter. He fights. He's one of the UFC sparring partners. Big guy, very nice guy. And he's fought in Jiu-Jitsu before. I had never done it. It's like such a weird, extreme niche sport. So I did it. I had a great time. I tried to do everything. I tried to make my match semi-viral by like I was in the front seat. I climbed into the back seat. I was on the floorboard. I climbed out the car, climbed on the roof. I ended up losing via like he was compressing my head in the last. So this is car jitsu, guys. This is like the most weird. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on. I actually haven't even watched this back, but you start with your seatbelt unbuckled.
That's funny. You both like have to rush the seatbelt open at the same time.
Pop the seatbelt open. I'm trying to go for head control. I'm trying to control his arm. He's got long arms, so I figured he would try to choke me. But there's like no room to do anything in here, bro. There's no room to like.
Two big boys too.
Two big boys. We're both 200 pounds, man. It was just so hard because, like, look, I'm fighting for head control. He's going on the inside. I can't do much. There's not a lot of grips. I was figuring maybe I could get an overhook on his arm and use like that to crank an arm lock. But like he's got my head in this Muay Thai clinch, but he can't really do anything with it because I'm above him. So he can't really choke me. Now he's going in deep. So I could kind of fight for a choke here, but I don't really have the room to pull up, bro. So I'm like messing with his
almost
arm.
like a leg bar would have been the easiest thing when he had his knee almost into your chest.
It's just so hard. You don't have the room to stretch. You don't have the room to stretch to really get anything. So he's kind of pushing me against the doors here. I'll just commentate this whole match because I actually haven't watched it yet. We're fighting from 200,000 people live.
Yo, great placement though with the happy punch.
You like that? That's why I did. I had a rash guard, but I was like, I'm gonna keep the shirt on. So because I was in this disadvantaged position, if you reach out and you touch the ground, you're allowed one reset. So I reached out, I touched the ground, I got to a reset, and now look.
Beat you to the seatbelt's over.
Yeah. So watch this. I go to the back. I'm like, maybe there's more room in the back. Maybe even if I'm on bottom here, maybe I can fight for like a arm lock or a triangle. So I'm trying to maneuver him here to, even though I gave up the dominant position, you would say, I'm using my legs to keep him at bay. I'm figuring maybe I can stretch his arm. I think that he had hit his head really hard on the glass. And right there where I nodded to him, I was like, bro, you good? Because like we're grappling, bro. I'm not trying to bash this man's head on the glass. And I actually came out
doing this at a Scion TC is absolutely.
Bro, is that high level strats where like you actually like wedge them in the car and smack their head and shit?
Right. So like how I ended up losing actually was and I'll give you guys the full story, but he actually wedged my head against the door and my head was like, I actually had a huge lump on my head because I hit my head on like the door handle and he was using his head to press me into the door, and it was just like, bro, it was just so lumpy in there. So see, this is actually like, nobody's winning or losing in this position. Granted, I'm on bottom, so I'm not in the dominant position. But there's nothing that he can really do at this point because it is such a strange position. We got no room to work, so I'm pushing him away with my legs.
The only thing he can do is enter you. This is like a normal, everyday teenage
experience. He's going for a kiss on me. He's using his head to try to maneuver my head out of the way so he could smooch my lips. Clearly, he had a crush on me.
I think he's just trying to nibble on your neck a little bit.
It didn't even buy me a drink, right? Didn't even buy me a drink.
Sexual tension is out of control.
The sexual tension is an all-time high. So he's on top. This is where, like, instead of me raising up, I was like, it kind of be funny if I tried to maneuver onto the floorboard. I wonder if there's something I could do. So I tried to go to the floor, and the floor had just rained. So the floor was very soggy. My whole clothing got wet. And so I lift back up, and I'm like, maybe I can get back up to sit up and get on top. Right here, he goes to get my back. There's like 5 seconds left in the match. So this is actually the most dominant position I think anybody had because he actually did have my back to some degree. But the round ended, and now we reset with the next round. And at the next round, it was kind of a similar situation. I actually climbed on top of the car in the next round, which was kind of funny. So if you want to show that, that'd be cool.
Okay.
Because I actually think that
it's always like copyright, or it's like how much you want to show.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
You can do this.
Even though you're good, it's always sketchy, you know.
Yeah. So look, I actually had a rash guard underneath. That's a Happy Punch one. I just like the big logo on my shirt. So look, he goes out of the car, and here you can fast forward through this about like 20 seconds because like honestly, I was trying to pull him back in the car, but I couldn't. And then I'm like, wait, you can get out of the car? I didn't realize. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go out of the car. And my plan was to climb out of the car and dive into his window. But the car was very slippery on top. So I'm like, maybe I can choke him. And then he goes back in the car. And so I'm like trying to figure this out. I drop it low for you guys. He's going to drive away here. He puts in the keys. He tries to drive away.
Is that a legal technique?
It's a legal technique. If he wanted to drive off property, he easily could have. And now this is actually
a game win starting the car.
yeah, right. So this is actually, to be honest with you, if I was actually in a real fight, in a real circumstance, I would have never have tapped to this. But I didn't want my match to be like a no ending type of match. You know, I didn't want to be a decision or anything like that. That seems boring.
You didn't just want to hump in the back of a car for 10 minutes.
So it seemed cool to me that he got me in a unique position where my head was pressed into the door and he was like jamming my jaw against the door. And I was like, this could be bad on my teeth. My teeth were popping out of my mouth. So I was like, you know what? This is kind of a cool thing. I'll tap to this. And then we get all different, like, we got all the cool things that can happen in car jitsu. They all happen. A submission via the car, climbing on top of the car, the back seat, the floorboard, the front. I thought it was a great match. I thought it was good. And then actually the match that you guys saw go viral that had like 20, 30 million views on Twitter was Kai Cenat versus a champion of jiu-jitsu. And that was actually my younger brother that he fought, which is hilarious.
That's cool as hell. So if you think back to all these thriller movies of like the 90s and early 2000s where the dude pops up in the back of the car and he's like, I'm coming to fucking get you. You feel more comfortable in that situation now?
Now that I have the experience of fighting in a car, I realize nobody can really do anything. So yes, I feel way more comfortable.
Like, you know exactly how to just like drop your seat down, pull the seatbelt over your neck and withdraw yourself out of the entire car situation.
Yeah, he
and then climb on top and choke him out.
He tried to choke me with the seatbelt at one point. He was trying to choke me. And I was like, what a unique situation. And I popped that off and I got out of that. But man, it was tough. Definitely if I fought somebody or if he had fought somebody with zero skill in jiu-jitsu and they don't know how to move, you could definitely choke somebody in the car, like via the seatbelt or take out the headrest and hit him with it. Maybe turn on the cigarette lighter, burn them. Who knows what could happen?
Exactly. You just stick it to the middle of their forehead. Like in Last House on the Left.
Random.
That sounds like Russian rules.
Yeah, I think that is Russian rules, brother. Is there an iPhone charger in the car? How long is it? 3-foot one? Can I utilize that? I don't know.
Let me circumcise them. Yeah. Who knows? Just cut everything off.
Whoa. All right. Okay.
Yeah,
all
just
right.
fuck them up.
Choke both heads.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Both
good plan. I would not want to fight you in a car. I know that much.
No, it's funny. Whatchamacallit? Verlis was confused because, you know, I dealt with street fights a couple times. And I'm like, you know what? The way that I figure out exactly if somebody wants to fight or not is the first thing you do is you look for their hands. Which is the normal thing. You look at their hair, you see if they're clean. And then you look at their shoes.
I wasn't confused by that.
Who was it? Our guest that was confused by that? I remember somebody being like, oh, that's a good point.
No, the shoes was a good point, but I wasn't confused by the rest of it.
Gotcha. But I was like, that's how you tell if somebody's ready to fight. Because if they have their nice fucking Jordans on or fucking $300 shoes, they're not going to fucking fight. They're either going to stab you, poke you, or they don't want to fight or do anything.
Give you a poke.
No in between. Yep.
No, for sure. Or if you look at them and like you look at their hands and they have a gun or something, you know, they probably also don't want to fight. You know, or if you look at their shoes and like their shoes are off, then maybe they're like, you know, they're down to throw down because they don't want to mess up their shoes. These are all things that you have to look for sure.
So first off, you said it a couple of times. I didn't get a chance to congrats you when you were on PK. Congrats on getting your black belt.
Thank you, brother.
I don't think we've actually had one-on-one time to chat before this.
Wow, has it been that long? I think I got my black belt 2 years ago. When was it?
Like a year and a half or so.
Yeah, probably around that same time. Yeah, that's probably true. It's probably
so congrats on that. That's cool.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Here's my certificate for black belt right here. That's the official one from the Gracies, you know, from my instructor, Mika Sapilli, underneath Hoyler Gracie. And there's all my black belts over there. Very, very cool. And yeah, it's been crazy. I definitely finally feel like very legit. It took me a while before I could settle into being a black belt. I felt like, oh, I don't deserve this for a long time. But now I feel that I can go anywhere, and I do go anywhere in the world, and I train with some of the toughest guys, and I don't always win, but I don't always lose, so that's probably good.
How often have you had to show the paperwork of saying, hey, my hands are a registered weapon?
You know what? Honestly, that is a myth, brother. So the only thing, thank you guys for the acknowledgement on that. I actually do have a fighter's card, which is like signifies that I am a professional fighter, but there's no real like registering your hands that people think of. Granted, there is like, if I was to go choke somebody unconscious and kill him, then they could use that against me in the court of law and say, hey, this guy knows what he was doing and he still went ahead and used lethal force. Yeah, exactly. So that's really what it is, but there's no such thing as registered hands. And anybody who tells you that is a liar. And I'll talk to them
just kind of proves intent.
Yeah, no, exactly that, and that's all it is. Hey, this guy's a professional fighter, or this guy's this or that, and he should have known better than doing that, and that could be used against me for sure.
Exactly. It's just so interesting to genuinely see, you know, some people that still believe that that's true.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. I like it. People always ask me, and some people are so sure of it too. I've actually even had fighters come up to me, like people who are like, "Oh, I'm a karate expert and my hands are registered weapons." I'm like, "Can I see your registered weapon card?" Like, well, we all know that we don't have that, right? Okay, sick.
What did they hand you shuriken too? Fucking
Yeah.
ninja.
Yeah, right, bro. Got some smoke bombs? Explode out of here, brother.
Exactly. So Verla sent me a whole bunch of Twitter topics that popped up.
Yeah, let's see some.
And this one was fucking crazy to me. And it's how the 90s actually were. These people absolutely have no idea that the 90s actually were a thing, like legitimately a thing. And it's really fucking weird to me. So this Reddit post is no stupid questions. Did parents in the 80s and 90s, it says 80s on here, but we all know 90s did this too, really allow their kids to roam freely? Or is that just portrayal seen in movies? It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
Bro, if you're not in a big city, you still get to do that. You know what I mean? I feel like, I mean, I'm from Vegas, so I went all over Vegas as a kid. Yes, it's a real thing in front of guys from the night. Anybody who's born after 2000 has no concept of, you get to run around. Kamala chugging Hetty meme is a crazy. Let me see this.
Oh, it's
oh yeah, that I just saw that tweet. But yeah, with the going out in the 90s, you understand that. It's like, oh yeah, kids, they get a phone way too early. They're just glued to it, and then Zoomers, they kind of deserve all the negative things people say about Zoomers when they just don't have that life experience. We covered a topic a couple months ago about menu anxiety. Have you heard about that?
Oh yeah, where people are scared to talk, like to order food or what?
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure. My sister
it's like
had
70% of Zoomers can't order food for themselves.
My younger sister had that for a long time until she was probably like 14, 15. And it's because she was more sheltered than I was. We have different dads. So I was with my dad and I would go out and talk to a lot of people. And my sister never really did until she was older. So I remember for the longest time, bro, until she was like a teenager, she'd always be like, "Hey, PJ, can you order my food for me?" and stuff. And I can only imagine it gets worse the more sheltered you are. And unfortunately, because it's so easy to stay inside nowadays with phones and technology and all that, of course, people are going to have more anxiety. Even me, bro, when I was making nothing but YouTube videos nonstop, and I stayed at home all the time, I would go out and I'd get some social anxiety. I was like, wow, this is weird. I've never had this happen to me before, but I'm glad that it did because it gave me a direct relation to people who feel that. And I know for a fact that if you just go out and do it more, you get better at it. It's okay. It's not something that you're stuck with.
YouTube fortunately kept me socialized in a weird way. Like I could catch it and be like, wait, I'm getting a little too antisocial. I shouldn't be nervous here because I know what it's like to actually talk to people. But it is weird how fast it can get stripped away. It's like a muscle. If you don't train your social skills, it's not like you permanently develop them and you're good to go. You either never develop them and then you're a Zoomer, or it starts to wear off. You're like, oh, I have the brain rot. This is bad. I need to go back outside like I did in the 90s. We were just running around the woods all day, building tree forts, jumping out of trees. Kids don't have that. And then they post on Reddit. Is this fake? Is this movies? Whoa.
Bro, have you seen the content about like the zero social anxiety content? And it's literally just people going up and having normal conversations with people.
Oh, those are great.
And it's like, yeah, just somebody go up and meeting a stranger. And people are like, this is crazy. This guy has no social anxiety.
That's not even no social anxiety. It's weird to me. My scale is so different. Like normal social anxiety is having a conversation in front of a couple hundred, maybe a couple thousand, maybe 10,000 people. A lot of social anxiety is like, do you remember the clip of Fousey Tube where he's sitting there as fucking Sub-Zero in a fucking elevator and he's like,
yeah, that's crazy.
Social anxiety. That is crazy.
That is insane.
Next level shit. That is people having zero social anxiety, being fucking weird in public, yelling obscene fucking things. These weirdos that do crazy fucking things. That's having zero social anxiety. Being able to fight past the, I feel awkward until you realize that it's okay. That's fucking normal, you weirdos.
That's super normal, guys. 100%. And yeah, I mean, it is a skill set, like you were saying, bro. It's a skill set, and it's one that it's like a muscle. If you don't work it, it goes away, bro. It's like 100. If you stop eating good, then you get fat. If you stop working out, you lose your muscle. If you don't ride a bike, it's not. It is okay. So it is like riding a bike in the sense that you can get it back, but it's not like it's not like riding a bike in the sense that you always have it, even if you don't utilize it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to practice the social skills.
I remember when I started this show, I think it was even before like I joined PK, and a few people were like, well, how do you have Reebok as a sponsor? How do you have this guest? How do you have that? And it's like, dude, just fucking ask people.
Yeah.
Like, if you're able to have a conversation with somebody, it is not hard to close a deal. If they're having the conversation with you, they agree with you somewhat as a person, you're human to them. So be a human and ask the question, because we already know you're going to. If you're not asking the question, you're kind of being disingenuous because you want to.
Bro, I go out with friends, and a lot of my friends obviously I go out with my friends from the internet, and a lot of them or I go out with like my girlfriend's friends or whatever, and they are all like socially anxious people. And when they go out with me, they're so blown away and almost scared of me because they're like, oh, I never know who you're going to talk to or make friends with. I'm like, isn't that the point of like, we're social creatures, bro? I'm going to go out and make friends with people. They're like, it's just insane how you can walk up to a group. They're like, they always tell me, because I'll go up to a guy and like, you know, maybe it's not the right way to go about it, but sometimes I'll like go up to a guy who's like buff or whatever. I'll be like, brother, just so you know, I woke up this morning. I tried to do a lot of push-ups and I couldn't do any. And I realized it's because you did them all, brother. Nice. And like, I'll make friends with them and they're like, oh, I thought that guy was going to get mad at you or whatever. I'm like, oh, actually, we're all just people. And everybody wants to, like, here's the end rule. Every person on this planet wants to talk to somebody. Now, that doesn't mean they want to talk to somebody random or whatever. We all have friends and family we enjoy talking to. The only difference between me and the other guy that I don't know is that we don't know each other. As soon as we meet, this person enjoys talking just as much as you do. It's just getting over that awkward step of like, oh, I don't know them is the only thing holding you back from having conversations with strangers, you know? So yeah, it's just a different lens that I look at it through.
I had a really weird situation with that the other day, and it really showed me how different my life is now. Like 4 years difference. My ex, we would walk in the store and I had to look at the ground because if I looked up, I was looking at a girl's ass and it was an accusation of me thinking that they're hot or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, no, I have to be perfect here. To now, somebody I went to school with walked up to me and was like, hey, dude, how's everything going? He walks up with one of my ex-girlfriends, sit there, have a conversation for 2 seconds. My girlfriend's like, oh, who is that? And just like accepts me being like a personable person or holding the door for people. Like, it's such a weird difference of like somebody just accepting you being a human and like interacting.
Yeah.
From just not at all. It's so weird. And this culture is so fucking weird now.
It is. Scary. It's strange, you know. And my girlfriend's really a homebody as well, so she can be social, and she's actually very good at it. And I think that she underestimates how good she is at being social. But when we go out together, she kind of like will hide behind me, you know, a little bit until she gets comfortable. But I'm just somebody who I can be instantly comfortable with anybody at any given time, and it's also because my dad's the same way. So I grew up around my dad, and my dad is like very much like. He'll go if I leave my dad alone for 30 seconds, he's sitting at somebody else's table in the restaurant. They're buying him a drink. They love him because he's just like a social butterfly, bro. It's hilarious.
I always learned how to be social. And this is a weird way to learn how to be social is I always made myself uncomfortable first. I will find where you're comfortable and I will make the jokes about myself first. And I'll play with myself first and then I'll lean into you. 100%. And then as I lean into you, I know where you're going to have fun and where you're going to joke and accept jokes. And I'm going to poke you in it a couple of times and we're going to see how you react. And then I'm going to bring you to being completely okay with being extroverted and playful. But that's how I do it. And it's 100%. A really weird way to do it. But
I think that's a good way of doing it. You should like, that's how I typically do it first. Like when I just gave the talk about, telling the guy about push-ups, every guy, first off, guys need more compliments. Let's compliment our men more.
Oh yeah.
Please, America. We don't get enough compliments. Every guy that works out, if I go up and I comment about his physique, they always appreciate it. And then it's something that we can like talk about that they like. And then after that, then we can talk about, oh yeah, you know, I do this or I do jiu-jitsu, and that kind of relates to the physical activity thing. And then from there, you make friends with people, you know, and that's 100% how you do it. You go up, maybe a little self-deprecation, maybe talking about what they like, and then boom, 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 bada bing, bada boom, you got a new friend.
Exactly. And whether it's a fucking job interview, whether it's just normal everyday life or ordering for yourself, it's not hard to make yourself comfortable in situations when you make yourself uncomfortable always.
For sure.
If I walk into the room and light up everybody that's in the room, do you know how cool of a fucking feeling that is? just because you're an eccentric fucking person and making jokes at everybody's expense. That's how it is. Like, just light the fucking room up because you can.
I definitely know for a fact that I can come off awkward at first to people. And I have no problem, like you just said, being uncomfortable. I have no problem being awkward in front of people at first, because truth be told, it is a little abnormal for especially younger people, right? That are so engaged in social media or whatever. It is a little abnormal for somebody to come up and just talk to you. It's like awkward. It's like, I don't know you. Why are you? Oh, wait, you're cool or whatever. Like, it is like an interesting position, and it can be awkward and uncomfortable. But overall, it's good for you. You never grow in comfort, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I remember my weirdest interaction, and it was in private, which is nice, but I'll talk about it publicly. Hutch joined the call when he was going to be a guest on PK. Mm-hmm. I was like, dude, I've been compared to you so many times. Yeah, I've been told that I look like you, and it's like, this is a weird one for me. And he's like, dude, I'm just a normal person. It's like, no, it is weird. Like, it's okay for it to be weird, but like, this one's weird. It's cool to meet somebody that you look up to, and you're like, that's one of the reasons why, let alone somebody that you were compared to looks wise. It was weird. But
yeah, it's always, bro, it's always weird. And it's always like the whole, I'm just a normal person is so true. And I am guilty of saying the same thing when people meet me or they're excited. I just went to the gas station. I got a energy drink, and the guy there was like, bro, he's like, you're in phase, right? I was like, well, I'm part of the family or whatever, and they're like, I know you pulled up Instagram and all that. And I was like, I'm just a normal person. I'm so excited to meet you, brother. And like, but I also understand the amount of people that I meet that I have looked up to. A big one for me is Wings of Redemption. Every time I meet Wings, I'm like, I fangirl because I love Wings. Or even every time I'm on PKA, I am nervous and I am like excited to be with the boys because I've watched the show for so long and I kind of grew up with those guys. I've been watching them since high school, so like it's so cool for me. And there's nothing wrong with being excited about meeting somebody that you look up to, and it's always going to be, you got to find that middleman where it's like these are just normal people, but at the same time, like, you've inspired me, brother. Like, I want to talk about that,
Yeah, that's a 100% for me because I'm just like, yeah, even if people come up to me, I'm like, I'm just a normal person. I know you're going to treat me different because I have the same thing. Mm-hmm. I go to like PAX parties and stuff and I'm talking with all these big shots. I'm like, oh, and now I understand how fans feel because that's me in this moment right now, even though I've kind of built that up. It's like I have 500,000 subscribers, but I still am like, did I just fuck up talking to Markiplier? Damn it.
Bro, this has happened to me a few times, but specifically, I remember one instance where I was at a party for like TwitchCon or PAX or something like that. And I met this guy and he came up to me. He's like, bro, I'm so excited to meet you, blah, blah. And I didn't know who he was. And so I talked to him for a minute and then he goes, oh, I'm so-and-so from the COD community. I was like, no way. I was like, bro, you're excited to meet me? I've been watching your stuff for like years too. This is so sick. I'm more excited to meet you actually, so it's just kind of, it's a cool position to be in for sure.
There was a weird one on the show probably a couple months ago and Woody finally came on. And he answered my Mail Monday question from when we were pregnant with my first daughter, from when I was 16 years old. I was like, oh, dude, it's so full circle. It's just cool some days where it's just like, dude, I'm living a dream, regardless of what happens. If nothing more happens and I die tomorrow, dude, I am so fucking happy. Life is so fucking cool. Like, you can't fucking fight it, man. You just can't.
Verlicify, are you this furry? This wolf?
Yeah. It's the same picture, kind of.
Oh, okay, good. I subscribe to you. You have one more subscriber.
Yay, thank you.
Hooray.
I mean, it matters.
Subs, brother. You're about to pass me, buddy. You're about to pass me in subs.
No, I am absolutely not about to pass you. My channel's been dead for like years.
Oh, thank God. You're not going to pass me. You're 4,000 subs away. You'll never make it.
I'm losing subs every month. I'm in that black hole.
I'm trying to give you the motivation. You can do it, brother. I've been losing, so I was at like 510,000 subscribers or something, and now I'm at 475. But I don't upload anymore at all.
The problem is I actually got like slammed with a dislike bot.
Oh, okay.
And YouTube support never did anything about it. And then all my competition was like, let's make the defamatory videos. Look up Verlicify Drama. You're going to see some hateful stuff.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird. I'm like the most hated person in the Pokemon community. But then I'm just a normal dude. I just want to play Pokemon.
Brother, I'm just trying to play Pokemon.
Yeah,
He's a furry Republican
is
who likes Pokemon.
the
It's
crazy thing
weirdest-
you won't accept, like you won't understand, is like how toxic the Pokemon community is. You come from Call of Duty, that is nothing on the Pokemon community.
Swear. Here, I just put my TikTok in the chat if somebody wants to pull that up real quick. I gotta leave in like 5 minutes, guys.
Dang.
I got friends in town from England, so I don't want to abandon them too much, you know. But something went wrong. What
Refresh that.
Refresh.
You got videos on my side. You didn't get banned.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay.
Yeah, that's dude. The fear of
So,
like when
that's
something
me.
is slightly wrong.
Oh, here, yeah, play this one. This is great.
Fighting Phase Sensei. And that
Oh,
is
you put
also
on
me. I'm
floating video.
Fighting Phase Temper. I'm a
This
jiu-jitsu
is
black
me
belt. I'm not a
this is me
boxer,
getting
so I challenge
smacked.
both of them at the same time to submission grappling. It's easy. Whoever gets choked unconscious first loses.
What do you mean you
That's
punched in
me.
the in
I'm
the
fighting
liver?
Phase Sensei.
And then me
And
punching
that
the
is
face.
also me.
So sick.
I'm fighting.
And then if we go back to my TikTok and we scroll down slightly, I like this one of me in the ring. We can play this one of me in the ring, top right. This is in the
This is the
Jake
ring.
Paul,
Check it
Mike
out. Look
Tyson.
at it. Beautiful.
Oh man.
Biggest boxing match in history. Thank you for having me, MVP. Happy punch. Here you go. Appreciate you guys. Jake Paul versus Mike
Very
Tyson.
cool.
This is the ring. Check it out.
And
Very
then
cool.
I like this one of me punching Jake Paul's face. It's the punching bag thing. Yeah, this is cool.
I'm gonna knock out Jake Paul.
Wait, they had that set up.
Yeah, bro.
That's
it was
amazing.
heavy, bro. My hand was hurt. I punched this thing like 10 times. That thing weighs
I'm gonna
25
knock out Jake
pounds.
Paul.
It was so heavy.
Crazy.
Crazy, bro. And then I had if you all saw that little fight of the mini Jake Paul versus mini Mike Tyson on the TikTok as well. Bro, I hosted this in Vegas. So I was there with a Micromania tour. So funny. These guys were great, man. They really did well. I actually was going to bring them on Kai Cenat's stream, but mini Jake Paul had to have surgery done, so he wasn't able to make it, unfortunately. Maybe in the future. But it's so funny. I love one of the top comments is somebody said, bro really only watched half the fight. But this was great.
Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul from Wish.
Yeah, the Timo version. And then we had fake Conor McGregor as the ref.
That's amazing. Oh my God,
I see
yeah,
it.
that's amazing.
Fucking hell.
What a life.
What a life, bro. Crazy stuff.
Oh damn! I wish you guys could see Bryce because that face was hilarious. He should have because it was fucking great. No, honestly, brother, thank you so much for coming on. I don't want to hold you back from going to see your friends before you go stream. So
For sure.
thank you for coming on, brother. It's been a blast. It's
Yes,
been
sir.
fun.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for having me on. I always enjoy hanging out with the boys. Let's do it again soon. Let's not wait another year and a half.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
great.
brother.
All right, bro.
I
Yeah,
love
clip up
having
some
you on.
stuff too. Send me some clips as
Oh,
well
you
if you
want some
guys do
clips?
that. Yeah, are you guys doing shorts and stuff out of this?
Oh, brother, I do shit tons of shorts.
Yeah, hit some
So
shorts. I've
many.
been seeing the PKA clips. I've been seeing you all posting now on Twitter and TikTok and stuff more.
Yeah, he's starting to do a whole bunch of shit.
I like
he's
that.
doing
I
good
like
shit.
that. Yeah, we need more of that. Let's all grow together.
yeah. Next
Honestly-
time I'll get rested and we can have face cam.
Oh yeah, let's do it. You really look like the picture.
Surprisingly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sick. All right, boys. Hey, I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, boys. We'll see you fucking next time. Bye.